Test 1, 2. Name, so we need to.
Good afternoon, everyone. If everyone can take their seats so we can begin our meeting. Good afternoon, and we are stream on City of Ottawa YouTube. First of all, I'd like to say thank you to my colleagues and to the service for being able to join us in this special meeting on short notice. Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call our special meeting to order for April 27, 2022. I want to begin our meeting by recognizing that Ottawa is located on unceded territories of the Algonquin Anishinaabe host nation. The peoples of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation had lived on this territory for millennia. Their culture and present have nurtured and continue to nurture this land. The Ottawa Police Service Board honors the people and the land of the Algonquin Anishinaabe Nation. Today, Ottawa is home to approximately 40,000 First Nation, Inuit, and Métis people. Ottawa's Indigenous community is diverse, representing many nations, language, and customs. The Ottawa Police Service Board honor all First Nation, Inuit, and Métis people and their valuable past and present contributions to this land. This afternoon's special meeting begins stream live on YouTube through the City of Ottawa channel. As I mentioned, Member Henschel and Member Doucette cannot join us today, send their regret. I will now proceed with the confirmation of the agenda. That the Ottawa Police Service Board confirmed the agenda for 27 April 2022 is the meeting. Is the agenda confirmed? Thank you. Declaration of interest. Or there's any declaration of interest? Thank you. Item number 1 is appointment of a special constables, RCMP. Chair's report. We only have one item of business for our special meeting, and that is request from the service to appoint RCMP officers to assist OPS with their management of the Rolling Thunder event this weekend. The report also asks that the Vice Chair and I be delegated authority to approve any other appointment of special constables in relation to this event. This recommendation is intended to ensure we can act quickly to provide the service with the resources they require for this event, should the need arise. Lastly, the service would like us to reappoint the existing special constable appointments from the February illegal protest. These appointments or reappointment will be valid until July 4th, 2022. The board received the report for this item this afternoon. Chief Bell, do you have anything further to add before I read the motion?
Mr. Chair, the first thing I would say is thank you very much for convening today. I appreciate it. I do know it's on short notice and we just met very recently. So I do absolutely appreciate your coming together to look at this. No, Mr. Chair, there's nothing to add other than to say if there's any questions on the material or content, we'd be happy to have it. This is one of the new and improved ways we're looking at approaching these demonstrations, these events, to be able to make sure that we have the resources properly sworn in ahead of time so that we're not in a reactive response if something does need to be actioned as we move through the weekend. So again, thank you for being here and happy to take any questions on the report.
Okay, thank you, Chief. So I'm going to read the motion that the Ottawa Police Service Board 1, approve the appointment of up to 200 RCMP employee as the need arises through this event, pursuant to Section 53 of the Police Service Act, in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in the attached approve of appointment letter. 2, delegate authority to the chair and vice chair to approve the appointment of special constable status in relation to the Rolling to the Rolling Thunder event. And if I can add this, as well as any agreement between the board and other supporting police agency. So,
So, Mr. Chair, I can provide some context to that necessity if you wish.
okay, well, this is also as an amendment to the item 1, but go ahead, Chief.
So what the second part of that delegated authority we're seeking is, with every external police service that we request support from within the province of Ontario, actually outside the province of Ontario, but these are within the province of Ontario, we sign a memorandum of understanding with them. So part of the requirement, so it's basically a contract between us and the police service attending that talks about expectations from us, legal requirements, fees, and how we will remit payment to them moving ahead. So as part of that, because it's a contract, we will author it, issue it, endorse it, but ultimately it needs to be signed off by the Police Services Board. There are a number of those that are in front of the Police Services Board today, and we anticipate that there could be more depending on how things move ahead through the weekend. So we're seeking the ability to make sure that we can quickly and streamline and seamlessly have those approved by the board so that there's no administrative hiccups or delays.
So thank you, Chief. So basically, as well, when I mentioned that's added to the original motion, so you might not have it, but I just read it. So, and item number 3 is approve existing reappointment of up to 631 existing RCMP employee as the need rises through this event pursuant to Section 53 of the Police Service Act, in accordance with the terms and conditions set forth in the attached approval of appointment letter. These appointment or reappointment will be valid until July 4th, 2022. Any question on the motion on Member Leeper? We'll start with you. And
thanks. So with respect to delegation, I take no issue, obviously, with delegating the authority to yourself and to Vice Chair to appoint further members of special constables through the course of this period. Is it entirely legal? I don't want to get into a situation where somebody challenges an action taken by an officer who is acting under, who is acting as an appointee, whose appointment is by virtue of having been appointed by somebody who has been delegated by this board to appoint them. I don't know if I'm being entirely clear, but I just want to make sure that it's bulletproof in terms of the legality of delegating that authority.
Mr. Chair, the process for appointment of special constable contemplates 2 levels of appointment. So there's appointment or appointment by the Police Services Board, but also approval by the Ministry, the Solicitor General. Section 34 of the Police Services Act does provide the authority in a Police Services Board to delegate to any 2 members any of its authorities under the Act, with the exception of bargaining, which can be delegated to 1.
I haven't learned my Police Services Act yet. Perfect. Section 34?
Yes.
Thank you.
okay, any other question? Member Curry, go ahead.
Yeah, I understand what we're doing here and I understand the MOU. On page 4 of what we've received here, there's only one part of it that was confusing to me. In the 3rd bullet, it says for the roles and responsibilities, deterring and detecting criminal and provincial offenses other than highway traffic infractions. And then in the next one, it says when observed and on duty enforce violations of the Highway Traffic Act. That just seemed confusing to me, but maybe I'm confused.
So I think as we've written the report, we've delineated between provincial offenses note and provincial offenses notices for all other authorities. Could be the Environmental Protections Act. It could be the Landlord Tenant Act. And we've strictly identified separately the Highway Traffic Act because that is the act that is most utilized and most empowered around these special constable appointments. So it is a fine point for us and something we'll revisit. There is no absolute distinction between them for us or for what you are approving appointments to.
Okay, I just don't want anybody to be confused about what they can and can't do because it seems like they have a lot of authorities that they will likely need this weekend.
Yeah, so what I can let you know on that is this provides them the overall authorities as a special constable within the province of Ontario. They will be sworn in once approved by our service. We then go and provide much further, more detailed briefings around exact expectations, where we see them, giving them actual legislative outlines on what they can enforce and how they enforce it. That's all part of the briefing package that we provide to officers before they actually deploy to an event like this.
Okay, I figured it wasn't all hinging on this one bullet point here. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Member Kerr. Member Fakrani, Salim.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The question I have relates to number 2, the delegated authority provision, and I just want to confirm my understanding. And my understanding is that each of you, the chair and the vice chair, will have that authority. It's not like they have to do it together. Is that correct?
I'm happy to answer that. It would be the two acting jointly.
Okay, so not separately. It's not like the vice chair can do a few and then the chair can do a few. No, it has
Correct.
to be jointly.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for that clarification.
Any other questions from my colleague? Okay, so on this item, carried. Thank you very much. Our next meeting will take place on Monday, May 30th. Can I have before we adjourn, the chief has offered to give a little bit more update, briefing, and in camera. It's up to the board if they feel up to, receive. And so if that's the case, I need a motion to move in camera. So moved by Member Velikat. Do we have anybody need to leave the room? I don't believe so. Is there anybody, Chief? Okay.
Just wait, turn off the streaming.